Humanity's past is a shadow of what it once was. The ruins of ancient cities stand silent, their stories wiped clean. No records, no myths, no legends, just gaps where history should be. The world moves forward, but something is missing, something stolen. For centuries, we lived under a lie, unaware that we had been erased. Not by time, not by war, but by something far more deliberate. The Vash'Kai came as conquerors, but conquest wasn't enough. They didn't just destroy armies, they rewrote reality. Entire civilizations reduced to whispers, battles that shaped the stars stripped from memory. We didn't even know we had fought. The Vash'Kai weren't gods, just masters of manipulation. Their technology didn't kill, it erased. They could rewrite minds, alter records, scrub entire species from history as if they had never existed. For them, domination wasn't about destruction, it was about making sure no one remembered resisting in the first place. But erasure isn't perfect. Deep beneath the ruins of a forgotten city, something remained. A vault, sealed long ago, hidden beneath layers of dust and silence. Inside, fragments of a different past. Symbols that shouldn't exist, war records in languages no one recognized, and one phrase, carved into stone in unmistakable human defiance. We remember. A lone historian, one of the few who still searched for what had been lost, ran trembling fingers over the inscription. It wasn't a discovery, it was a warning. A war had been fought. A war we weren't supposed to know about. Somewhere, in the cold void of space, the Vash'Kai still watched. Still certain that humanity remained blind, unaware of what had been stolen from them. But the past wasn't gone. Not completely. And for the first time in centuries, humanity began to remember. The first name spoken was a whisper, a sound unfamiliar yet undeniable. A name no one should have known, from a history no one should have remembered. But it spread. One word became many. One memory became a flood. The dam had cracked. The historian's discovery wasn't just an artifact, it was a call to arms. Across the world, others like him pieced together fragments of the erased past. Scholars, hackers, engineers, each unearthing forgotten knowledge. Ancient texts resurfaced in abandoned archives. Military schematics appeared in encrypted files long thought to be corruption. Something had been buried deep, but now it clawed its way back. Humanity hadn't lost a war. It had nearly won. Before the erasure, the Vash'Kai were on the brink of defeat. Human fleets had pushed them back, planets liberated, their empire crumbling. But then, at the final moment, they changed the rules. They didn't fight harder. They erased the fight itself. With their technology, they rewrote human minds, corrupted records, and turned victory into oblivion. But memory is not so easily destroyed. Some knowledge had survived, buried in subconscious echoes, in old machines that refused to die, in whispers passed down as myth. And now, those fragments were merging into something whole. A resistance took shape, not an army, but something stronger. A movement. Historians became tacticians, storytellers became spies, scientists became warriors. Every recovered piece of history was another weapon, every forgotten name another battle cry. Humanity wasn't just remembering, it was rebuilding. Then, the first true act of defiance. A rebel team infiltrated a Vash'Kai communications hub. They didn't steal information. They broadcasted it. Across the controlled networks, across entire star systems, they forced the Vash'Kai to hear what they had tried to erase. Names of fallen heroes. Battles they had wiped from history. The truth of what had been stolen. The response was immediate. The Vash'Kai struck back, burning libraries, erasing databases, hunting those who dared to remember. But it was too late. The past was no longer buried. It was awake. And it was angry. The first battle wasn't fought with weapons. It was fought with words. The Vash'Kai had built their empire on a lie, and now that lie was breaking. The truth spread faster than they could silence it. Entire colonies, once obedient, began questioning the gaps in their history. Soldiers hesitated. Governors defected. The illusion of control was cracking. But humanity had no intention of stopping there. Deep beneath the surface of Mars, a vault was unlocked. It had been sealed before the erasure, hidden where the Vash'Kai would never find it. Inside were blueprints, warships, weapons, technology centuries ahead of what humanity had been forced to rebuild from scratch. Plans for a war that should have ended in victory. Now, it would. Engineers worked in secret, reconstructing what had been lost. Scientists rediscovered theories once considered impossible. Tacticians studied battle strategies erased from existence. The Vash'Kai had stolen humanity's past, but they had never expected it to return fully armed. Then came the first strike. A single ship, thought to be outdated and useless, activated forgotten systems. Shields the Vash'Kai had no record of, weapons designed specifically to counter their fleet. It tore through an enemy outpost before vanishing into the void. A message left behind. You erased our victories. Now we will erase you. The Vash'Kai panicked. Their control was slipping. The same weapon they had used against humanity, erasure, was now being turned against them. Their records were rewritten, their communications disrupted. Human hackers infiltrated their networks, altering history in real time. Names of their greatest leaders disappeared. Entire battles never happened. Their own people began to doubt what was real. Confusion turned to fear. Fear turned to chaos. Then, war erupted. Not a new war, but the war that had been stolen from us resumed exactly where it had left off. Humanity didn't just come back. It came back with a vengeance. The Vash'Kai had always believed themselves untouchable. Their greatest weapon was not their fleets or technology, but control over history itself. They had never known true fear until they began to disappear. One by one, their outposts went silent. Their databases, once filled with millennia of conquest, were wiped clean. Their own people began questioning who they were, where they had come from. What had they won, if there was no record of victory? Humanity had turned their weapon against them. Fleet after fleet fell, not just in battle, but in memory. Human forces crushed them in space, while operatives erased their existence in data archives. Entire species that had once feared the Vash'Kai now refused to acknowledge their rule. Their statues were torn down, their histories rewritten, their names slowly fading from the records of the galaxy. Their empire collapsed, not with a final battle, but with a whisper. On Earth, a monument was built not to glorify war, but to ensure it would never be erased again. Engraved in unbreakable stone, in every language humanity had ever spoken, were the words, "We remember." The last of the Vash'Kai fled into the void, nameless, forgotten, erased from the very history they once controlled. And as humanity rebuilt, it carried a single unshakable truth. This time, no one would forget.